So there's my shelter. This is a 3.5 by 3.5 metre DD DD tartan multi-cam. This is going to give me a nice shelter now to get my gear under and my gun. I'm going to put a hammock under there. That's going to provide me somewhere nice and warm to set up a base. And I've got quite a few other jobs now to do. It's going to get dark soon. I've come here, it's the afternoon, early evening. I've still got to get firewood. I've got 2 litres of water with me, so that's not a priority at the moment. But I've got to think about food. I've only got minimal food in the way of I've got some rice and I've got some ponchos, and that's it. They're going to sustain me with enough carbs to do certain jobs if I don't actually get anything for the pot tonight. But we're going to crack on. There's plenty of firewood around there, so that's not really much of a priority at the moment. I've got a little Laplander saw with me, which is a folding Barco little saw about that long, and I've got my axe. I've got a Swedish pucko knife. Let's just get to it. Get a kit set up, get out with a gun. So that's my little home setup. This wind's proven to be a bit of a nightmare. I've got one Tigress under blanket here. I know it looks a bit floppy, but once you get in there, it really does stop that wind from cutting underneath and really freezing your back. So if you haven't got a under blanket, I suggest you go and buy one, because they're a vital piece of kit, I think. You can use an inflatable bedroll or something like that, an inflatable mat, but it just doesn't quite cut the caper like a under blanket does. Really, it's a game changer. I think now is time to go with the gun and see if we can get something for the pot. So I'm going to load up my gun, and I've got it's a pre-charged pneumatic air rifle made by a company called Air Arms, and this is an S200. On top of it, I've got a day and night scope. This might seem like cheating, guys, and I really should be out here with a spring rifle, but I'm out here for 3 days. If I was out here for good, I'd want my spring rifle. But now I've got a 10-shot, super silent, super accurate tool. Hopefully we can get something for the pot, and I'll record it on the top. I've also got a infrared torch for this, so at night I can go out and hopefully shoot a rabbit as well, so there's no hiding from me. I should be able to produce some nice food for the pot. Wish me luck. Oh man, I've been out for hours, genuinely hours. I was so lucky that I've bagged up this buck rabbit now. It's almost midnight. I've been out for a good 5 hours. I missed so many opportunities. I've got no option now, just to get this rabbit, get my head down tonight, I'm going to hang him in a tree and see him tomorrow, because time is running out and I am shattered. I'm going to have a good swig of water and get my head down tonight. Let's get this rabbit cleaned up, we'll see you in the morning. Oh, it was a windy night. Oh, it must have absolutely hammered down about 2:30, I reckon. I'm sort of awake and sort of not. Oh, I'll chuck my coat over the top of me. It's getting a bit chilly in the night. Not from underneath. There's literally a squirrel right by there. There's nothing I can do about that. Fuming. It's good news, huh? Yeah, might make a coffee now. I always bring coffee sachets, and I got a little mess burner that I think I'm gonna cut myself a brew at. Let's get that. Oh, it's a little twig burning stove by Bushcraft Essentials. It's just got a bush box. Inside I've got a little transient burner there that I'm going to put some methylated spirits in, and these little supports, you can just put them in multiple places. You can put them on top, and I've made a little grill then out of stainless mesh, and I'll sit on there, you can cook sausages or whatever you like. But today I'm just going to put some meths in here. Like I said, this is out of a Trangia kit. Don't know what a Trangia is. Go and research them. Cracking little spirit stoves. Just got a ferrocerious rod. So it's got holes around the outside here, and once the meth's warmed up and the actual unit's warmed up, it starts creating that hob-like effect. We just sit back then, down in there. They don't burn extremely hot, so you can, you know, kind of play with them a bit. But once it gets heated up and roaring, perfectly adequate to cook on. So just put that down and get some water on the boil for my coffee. Get a nice warm drink in me then, and I think I'm going to go about the rest of the day. It's nice and warm, just sat in here with this under blanket up. When I boil a full cup of water like that, I like to put some into the lid and just keeps them back from washing your hands. It's always good to practice hygiene when you're out. After I gutted the rabbit yesterday, just before bed, I boiled a little bit of water. Obviously give all my hands a good rinse off, and yeah, keep clean before you go to bed. Oh, this coffee's nice. I think one of the things in future I'm going to buy is I've got a titanium mug that goes in here, but I'm going to buy a cheap little plastic one in there, because every time you make a coffee in a metal container, the metal, being such a good conductor of heat, is always hotter than the coffee itself, so you just end up welding this to your lip, not actually getting to enjoy your coffee. So I think in future I'm going to get a little plastic, or maybe one of those collapsible ones, I don't know. I've been saying this for years and never got around to it. I hope the audio's alright. I've got a windsock on my mic now, so I hope that's better. I've got some tasks I want to get on with. I've got to find some tinder to make a fire. I've got some methylated spirits. I could douse that over a load of small sticks, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get some dry tinder from somewhere. I've also got to harvest some hazel to make a spit to cook the rabbit over a fire. So yeah, less waffling, more acting, I think. just don't really want to leave this. I did go for a walk with a gun, but when I took that video of putting the pellets in, I actually took them back out and put them in my tin. I went over there, saw a squirrel, loaded the gun, didn't put the magazine in, did I? This is exactly what I'm looking for. It's a silver birch. And as you can see here, it's shedding its outer layer of bark. This is full of natural oils that take the spark really well off a fell serious moss, so I'm going to harvest some of this. Just scraping it off with my knife into my little bag here, and we'll take that back and put it under the tarp nice and dry. So this is the hazel tree, and it's really good for making all sorts of bushcraft stuff, but I'm going to be using it to make a spit to cook my rabbit on. This is the little Laplander saw I was talking about. The thing about hazel, it's really easy to coppice and look after the plant itself, look after the tree. And just by taking one of these little limbs off quite close to the actual main body of the tree, they'll just grow back super quick and easy. Probably going to need probably two about that size, so I'll take one off another tree, not to be greedy off just one. I think that one is probably ample. Take this one here. Make sure you take them green, guys. Don't cut the dead ones because they'll just burn on the fire. Oops. Cutting this on an angle for a reason. I want the one ends to be a bit spiky so I can pointed, sorry, so I can put it into the ground easier. So we're going to make 4 of those. And what we're going to do, so you want the one end spiky and the other end flat, just so we can use the back of our axe to hammer in to the ground. It's important to take the bark off the piece of wood that you want to use to actually spit the rabbit, because the bacteria actually lives in the bark. What I like to do sometimes is actually take the bark off, and then once you've made the fire, just put the spit in and out of the embers, just for cleanliness really. When lighting the fire, prep work is super key. I've got a variety of different size and thickness tinders here. This is the birch bark that I scraped off a tree, and then I found another birch tree that was dead. We've laid some sticks down on the floor just to keep it off the damp floor. Alright. Prep work is absolutely key here. So we're going to start off with the little stuff, and then we've got this on hand then. As soon as this takes a light, we want to put the thicker birch bark on, and then we're going to put the other tinders on. I like to pin it down onto one of the sticks. Not great conditions, windy as hell, raining. Don't try and compress it down straight away, because you want the air to get into it. but really by this point you're pretty much laughing because you've got some super flames. This wind's probably helping actually, if anything. And I've got these other various thicknesses of ash now to feed straight on, so I don't have to go anywhere. It's all here waiting for me. Here's the rabbit from last night. We've got this fallen down tree here, which is going to provide me a nice chopping base to clean this rabbit up. Basically what I like to do, just at the second joint, take the feet off, and this is brutal. This is same there. Same with the head. Get your fingers out of the way. Okay. Roll your sleeves up. This is going to get a little bit messy. I've got some water over there to clean my hands after this. I thought this was a buck rabbit when I shot it last night, but it wasn't. It's a milky doe. Pop his leg out. It's gone a bit tough because it's been hanging overnight in the cold. I'm going to work his back out as well. Okay. A bit slippery with this rain. Pop his other leg out. Then, there we go, you see the milk coming from. Just trim his tail off. Should say here it is. Easier if you've got a knife that's back over there. You can just literally take a little bit more off rather than messing about. There, make sure it's all clean. One rabbit ready for the pot. I've got a rabbit on the spit here, and I'm just basically sealing it off over the flames before I put it on the spit. And I got some water boiling in my stainless flask. Here's a little tip for you. When setting the shelter up, like a lot of people automatically think that they want the shelter to the back into the wind and then the fire immediately in front of it. But I've got a plastic crate over here that I've actually found. And I've been using it as a tripod for the camera, but I'll show you why that's not a good idea. Especially with windbreaks as well. Watch the smoke now. So imagine you had your shelter here, and then the wind is obviously protecting the fire, right? Instantly, that's going to be you in your shelter after all that hard work. What's happening is the wind is coming around and creating a suction back in. So, yeah. Obviously, where you are, I'm not going to have that problem, so I can leave that as a windbreak, or I could just build a nice one out of debris. It's not so much of a problem for me. The only thing it's doing is just ripping the flames that way and not really creating much heat up, so I probably will end up making a windbreak there because I want this just to put my camera on. It's not really very bushcrafty, is it? But it's serving its purpose. I literally just did what I told you not to do. I just used myself as a windbreak. Yeah, you don't want to be, you just want to go by heat. You know, use your hand just to check what the ambient temperature is, and you can, you know, you can turn it round to where you want with it really. I like sometimes just to prop it on the rocks for a bit, give it a spin. You don't want to just charcoal the outside and then have the inside raw, but I also like to have my meat thoroughly cooked when out camping. But I can tell because the wind's blowing that way, it's not too hot here, and it's a really nice temperature for cooking there. It's already giving off some aromas, and I'm fucking hungry, I gotta be honest. I had a tiny bit of porridge this morning, which has given me the energy just to do all the stuff I've done today. But I'm gonna have another coffee in a minute. And then when this rabbit's cooked, I'm gonna tuck into that. I'm gonna probably save some of the meat then. I'm gonna make a bit of a rabbit stew, maybe tomorrow. One of the things that my axe sheet toggle doubles up as is a nifty little device to pull a boiling water bottle off a fire. Da, 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 da. My food's done. Oh my god. Oh, that's hot. Yeah, it's a bang like it. Fucking like it. I think we'll go for some lime. Cut throughout. Oh no. Don't understand. You might think you understand, but you don't understand. One of my favourite bits is the crispy skin. I really like it. Well, I'm not going to disgust you by just tucking it into this. I'm going to eat it all in front of you. But I'm going to get my fill off this rabbit. I'm going to save some of the meat as well, and then probably make a stew with it. Nothing more to be said, is there? Bon appetit. So we've come across our first edible here. These are the baby leaves, or the young leaves of a primrose, and both the flower head and the leaves of primrose are both edible. Well, these get a bit bitter with age, but these are going to be super sweet this time of year, so we're going to grab some of these and they're going to go into a little foraging bag. It'll be a nice little staple addition to our stew later. Some more by here, another plant. And some more there as well. I'm not going to take too many. Just in here is the common stinging nettle, and they're quite abundant throughout the year. The actual hairs on here are made of silica, and they're full of serotonins, So getting stung by them is not necessarily such a bad thing. I've been handling these now for a long time, but I would say if you don't want to get stung as much, don't be too soft with them and just grab them, because you can almost crush the stings themselves rather than them stinging you. Really you want to go for the younger leaves, because they'll be much more easy to eat and not so tough, especially this time of year. I'm just sort of face first into this bush at the moment. These here are young cleavers of goosegrass. Oh, I slapped him straight in the head. That is a result. Gotta go get him. When I was out walking this morning in the rain, I let a fire go out, which was stupid, but I didn't really have much choice. I didn't want to leave it burning on its own. So the same as yesterday, we've harvested some superfine birch bark and then some thicker birch bark off the dead birch we found, and then some straw, straw like tinder as well. So let's do it again. Everything is a bit damp in this environment, but it should go. In there, good stuff on. So that the bigger birch bark again is full of oils. You don't want to press it down right now. Sorry that you can't see us too well, but I don't want to knock down the wall. Once that starts flaming up now, get your thinner size sticks and twigs on, and again by this point pretty much just laughing now. One of the best bits of kit you can carry is a founcing rod. Water, you can get wet. It just as soon as you get that striker and just bed somebody sparks into good dry tinder, you're almost guaranteeing that you're gonna be able to make a fire in damp situations, which is brilliant news if you want to keep warm. Got some more water boiling on the fire. I'm going to repeat the process of yesterday of making a spit for the squirrel. So I'm going to cook him in the same manner as I did the rabbit and spit roast him over the embers. Taking the bark off this hazel that I've harvested off the tree. And like I said yesterday, I'll just run it through the flames on the fire then to kill any bacteria that might be left in the bark residue. I don't think it's absolutely necessary to do that, but I do like to do it, so I think it's good practice. A lot of people tend to carry a much more substantial knife than this I've got. Here is a little Swedish pucko made by a close friend of mine. It's 3mm tool steel, and this is brilliant. I don't really batten with my knives. I only really ever make feather sticks, and I use my little Campax then, which is made by Robin Wood Tools. I use that to batten for bigger jobs. I've got to skin this squirrel, and I'm not going to show you that because it can be an absolute nightmare sometimes. But basically, I'll talk you through the process, and that's cutting through the base of the tail and slightly up the back, and therefore you can stand on your rear legs and actually pull the hide off it, but it doesn't work every single time. I'm by no means a master at it. I have managed to do it a few times successfully and really cleanly, but you'll know if you've hunted squirrels before and skinned them, you'll know it's an absolute nightmare not getting hair on yourself. But there we are, just like that. As you can see, I actually did quite a good job of that last time. But with nice healthy liver in the squirrel as well. But we're not going to eat that today. In a survival situation, I would not be wasting that. Chuck that over the hide. Two little kidneys. My dog would be crying now if she was here watching me waste all that. But we're going to go up into the chest cavity and remove the heart and the lungs. Just have some water on the boil and some clean water now to wash your hands off, or unless you're near a water source. What I like to do then is just get your little finger, same as a rabbit, clean out anything near the anal cavity, just to make sure there's nothing left in there. Get your spit, just like the rabbit, go up through the anal cavity, up through the length of this body, and out of the tail. Well, I can't believe how successful this hunt's been. It doesn't normally go, it doesn't always go this way, but there's been good parts and bad parts. The good parts was we managed to take a rabbit for the pot, and we've also got a squirrel, which is really good. Not so much bad, but it'd been better if there was more wild edibles out. Ooh, excuse me. Unfortunately, that's not the case this time of year. We've managed to get some dandelion leaves as well, which I forgot to record, but they're in the foraging bag. We've got the nettles, cleavers, young cleavers, and we've got the primrose leaves as well, which I'm going to add to the rest of the rabbit now, which isn't much because I got tucked right into that last night. But I'm going to make a nice stew, and those minerals and vitamins from the wild edibles are going to be a great addition to the rest of the meat. In the meantime, I cracked open a beer because I think that I deserve it. So says anyone who likes drinking. This is Williams Brothers East Coast IPA, and I first came across Williams Brothers when I was in Scotland because they are a Scottish brewery, and they do some fabulous beers, and they're not overly priced like some of the expensive hipster piss juice out there, which, don't get me wrong, I am a bit partial to them, but I normally drink just traditional ales. Badger Brewery, one of my favourite, but this is what I want today. So, juicy, fruity, modern. Cheers everyone if you're still with me watching now. I hope you like this content. Now I know a lot of the stuff I was doing, I don't know why, but I ended up doing more air rifle hunting than I have my pure love of this bushcraft and hunting, and going out with essentially fuck all and producing some food for the pot. I hate to use surviving because that's not the case, is it? It's more thriving than it is surviving. So cheers everyone anyway, I'll stop waffling. So I've had this pot of water warming up, and I've put the rest of the leftover rabbit in here. I'm going to add our greens. Plenty of serotonins in me then. The two things that I always carry in my bag for this sort of scenario is a chicken or a beef hot pot and some salt and pepper, because it generally does make the difference between something, you know, that you're eating for sustenance and something that is absolutely delicious. These are just in my bag always. I've also got like an all-round spice mix, you know, just chili and smoked paprika and stuff. Because I think, you know, you could say, couldn't you, well, that's not very foragey or bushcraft, but the truth is that we've been carrying, you know, throughout time, we've been carrying all sorts of herbs and spices. Just pop the lid on there a minute. We've been carrying all sorts of herbs and spices and goods in the way of things from over the continent. I mean, since the Neolithic age, people have been travelling all over Europe, trading, and I think, you know, they definitely would have been having spices carried with them all the time. So I think it is more relevant than what we think. It's fucking tasty as well, so that's that in there. I'm living like a king. That smells phenomenal. I've got to be honest, that smells so good. One of the things that makes me laugh most about my videos is when I'm editing it back, I don't realise how rough of a Welsh accent I've got. So when I listen to myself, I'm like, oh man. And like loads of the local Welsh lads always posting saying, oh, where are you from? And well, I live just outside Abergavenny. I'm from a place called Pontypool originally. So if you're watching this, if you ever do see me around, just come say hello. I'll chat to anyone, you know. Nothing special about me. Come and say hello and we'll have a discussion about what we're into, you know. This beer's going down lovely. You always see like tribal people, like the heads of tribe, you always sat like this, isn't it? And then you just realise why, is because you're down by the fire all the time. You don't have to get your back on. In fact, we're just the light sensitivity on the camera as we're losing light fast. It's going to start getting dark now. The squirrel is not far off being cooked, but I'll be putting that into, well, I was going to say a lower heat setting, but I'm just going to put it to the side of the fire and keep it warm over the embers. And in the meantime, I'm going to get stuck into this stew. You see part of the rabbit there in the greens. It's going to be too hard to eat at the moment, but I mean, it's too hot to eat. There's the stingy nettles. If you don't know, the sting obviously goes once you apply heat to it. But the goodness from the wild edibles here can be throughout the liquid as well. Got the gaminess of the rabbit, but that chicken stock comes through with the salt and pepper. But you're getting a really nice, I'd say, between spinach and kale taste from the wild edibles. Cheers. I'm going to jump into the hammock now and sit there and enjoy my stew. Perfect heat for cooking it. Well, it's going to be darker in half an hour, I reckon. I'm going to get my head down. I've got my camera now on the lightest setting I can possibly get. I'm going to crack open this last IPA. I'm going to get tucked into my squirrel. I've got to be up super early, so I'm going to get my head down now in the next sort of hour or two. But I'm going to get my fill off this first. Same thing as a rabbit, just stick it in the floor. Try a bit off the line. Oh, it's too hot. Yeah, good. A lot of people say there's not much meat on a squirrel, just because there's not. But it's underrated. That's really soft. I mean, just to give you an example, generally it just falls apart. Like you don't have to, really chew it. It's actually really. I don't know why it's on the floor then. It's too hot to handle. That's just the problem. It's a really nice meat. It's more like chicken than rabbit is. It does generally just taste like chicken. Like, I know they say, oh, it tastes a bit like chicken, but it does. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I am absolutely knackered, so I'm going to get my head down in the next hour. I don't really want to film the night period, because I feel like that's my time. It's quite tiring filming everything from different angles, and I've got to enjoy as well the time I spend in the woods, not just filming it. So again, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching if you stayed throughout the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Why does everyone film these shots where they're just waking up? Like, it's good and all, isn't it, for the video, but we all know that you just go out and put a camera on. I've been up for about, I don't know, 10 minutes. I put some more wood on the fire, like, just as it was getting light, so I can make a cup of coffee. But I gotta ship up and ship out, because I gotta get to work, and I gotta drop my stuff at home first. I can't wait to have a shower. I had a dream last night that I was having a Big Mac from McDonald's and it tasted phenomenal. Probably deprived myself from any real food. That's real food anyway. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to pack everything up. I'm going to leave absolutely no trace that I was here, just like every other time we go camping. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for watching if you watched the whole video through. I know it's a long one. Leave some comments down below what you'd like to see in the future. Oh, apart from that, have a good one. See you soon.